All right, that's far away.
Hey Patrick, just on we were talking to you a little bit about Travis the other day, but when you think about what makes him who he is, what stands out to you the most?
Yeah, it's the type of guy he is. Obviously, he's talented. I mean, to be that big and be able to run routes like that and have that speed. I mean, he could have had a ton of success really anywhere, but I think the way he's the type of guy he is, the type of guy how he works and how he's just a teammate, a great teammate. I think that's why he's kind of taking it to the next level. It's because I mean, everybody on that field they enjoy watching him succeed because of the type of guy he is every day.
And there was a time in his career when he starts making the move toward the goalpost that you might have thought he was going to go ahead and do that and maybe get a penalty. Did you have any concern he was going to actually do it, or you know him well enough now to know he'll reel it in?
I mean, you never know when he gets in the end zone what's going to happen. So it's like a lot of these guys. So I just kind of let them do their thing. They won't hurt the team. They might hurt their own pockets, but I think he's learned from a couple of those little fines that he doesn't want to do that too much.
This past summer, you and Josh got to further develop your relationship off the field with the golfing and everything like that. Just what do you make of the rivalry as it stands right now between you guys going at it? I know you don't go against the quarterback, but just the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, when you go up against the other great quarterbacks in the league, you always want to win. You always want to compete. Josh is a great guy. I mean, he's a great quarterback, physically talented, can throw, can run, can really do it all. But he's a great dude too. And so obviously, when we're on the football field, we were competing against each other, and we want to beat each other's teams. But I have a ton of respect for him and the player and person that he is.
What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think back to that game in January?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me it was battling through adversity. It was finding a way to win no matter what it took. I mean, that's a great football team, still a great football team, and we know it's going to come down to the wire every single time we play them. And so to see the guys respond, even when it kind of looked like it was all over, that's something that you'll always have.
You
have a good record when your team when the Chiefs have fallen behind early in games by a bunch of points, like the other night. What changes for you in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have urgency, and you try to have urgency from the beginning of the game, but, I mean, it even gets upped whenever you're down like that. You know you have to kind of put points on the board. You have to kind of press the issue, and I think our team responds well to that. That's something that I've done in my career so far, and, I mean, I played in the Big 12, and you always seem like you had to score points, so it's something I've done in my entire career.
Now, what is roughing the passer in this day and age?
Yeah, I mean it's something where they're trying to protect the quarterbacks. I mean they're trying to find the right medium of protecting those guys, protecting us, but at the same time letting everybody play football. And obviously this last week was in a small window, a bad week as far as roughing the passer penalties. But if you look at the whole grand scheme of things, I think they've done a pretty good job at it, and I'm sure they'll learn from this and continue on the rest of the season and get even better at it.
Mr. Jones says that's something that should be reviewed. How much do you agree with that?
It's a fine line. I mean, we saw the pass interferences and reviewing those. Sometimes when you slow the camera down to super slow-mo, everything kind of looks like it's either going to be roughing the passer or pass interference because there's always contact when you're playing football. And so I'm sure they'll look into that and see if that's the right decision. But at the end of the day, we have to just play by the rules that are out there. And obviously it hurt us this last week. And that's one spot, but I thought the guys responded well, and we found a way to win the game.
One of the differences from last year is Von Miller. From your film study right now, how has he sort of changed the game for them a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Von's a special player. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's won 2 Super Bowls because of his leadership and obviously his play. And it's someone that you have to know where he's at on every single play. And he's a Texas guy, man. Those Texas guys know how to play football.
Patrick, you mentioned
talking to the offensive line during that game. Is that something that's strategic for you? Like, do you pick moments to do that, or is it kind of what comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. You got to get the flow of the game. I think the best thing about our offensive line is they're competitive. There are some guys that want to compete and want to get out there. So a lot of times I don't have to talk to them. They know when they want to be playing better football. But I think at that time it was talking to them, talking to myself, talking to the whole team, and letting everybody hear it is you go out there and we got to compete. And I think there was a snippet of Trav talking. You heard them. They were bringing more energy. They were bringing it to us. And I think just having that urgency throughout the entire offense, I think that's what picked up our play as the game went on.
I don't know what sequence this was in, but I didn't see it till after the game. But there was a moment with you and Max where it looked like kind of brought the helmet to you. I don't know what impact that had on you. And were you looking for a penalty there? after he does something like that, given what happened with Chris Jones?
No,
weeks ago?
no, I wasn't looking for a penalty. I kind of walked up to him, so it's probably my own fault. And so, yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. Max is a player, and I have a ton of respect for his game. But I was a little fired up, and he was fired up, and luckily we won the game. So I got the end. But we'll play him again later in the season. I know he'll be bringing it that one too.
Was that part of what you're referring to, about creating your own energy at some point?
Yeah, I mean, you have to at sometimes. I mean, they were bringing the fight to us, and they were getting after us, and so I thought the guys responded, and that included me. It was we got to bring some energy and show them that we're not going to back down.
To that point, I know you don't care much about point spreads, but this is the first time you're going to be an underdog at home. Is that one of those things you use as some motivation?
I mean, it kind of is what it is. Our job is to go out there and find a way to win a football game, and it's a tough place to play at Arrowhead. And they've won here before, but we've also handled business before, so it's going to be up to us to go out there and handle business when it comes on Sunday.
Patrick, from your perspective, being with him throughout the week, I just wonder what has McColl done for you guys, just playing through this injury these last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, he's tough, man. Obviously, it's not something that you want to deal with, especially early in the season. It's got to kind of hurt not only physically but mentally because you wanted to go out and have a big year. But he's battled through the injury. He's seen it. His reps have had to decrease because of the injury, and he can't be out there all the time. But when he's out there, he's battling, and he's trying to do whatever he can to get himself open and make plays happen. And I think y'all can see it. I mean, it's not something comfortable to play with, but that's a competitor that he is. He's going to go out there and try to do whatever he can to help the team win.
Okay, yes, thanks, Patrick.